when I listened to it the first few times, I don't know if this is not something composers like to hear that often, but it reminded me of especially in John Williams's "Hymn to the Fallen" at the end when it
Mm-hmm.
gets kind of triumphant there too, and
Yeah.
there's kind of like some piccolo counter stuff going up on top, and the big push in that piece also.
Yeah, this he has the strings and octaves on that, and they're doing similar stuff like that. And like I said, I didn't come up with this stuff on my own, Like
Right.
I am absorbing every bit of music I hear. And
Hmm.
I have listened to that. I've featured that piece on my YouTube channel, The Hymn to the
Oh,
Fallen.
nice.
Like I did a
Hmm.
complete transcription of it and analysis,
Hmm.
and I know the piece intimately now because like I used to know it just because I knew it. I had
Hmm.
seen Saving Private Ryan, and like I own the soundtrack and I listened to it
Yeah.
on its own. And I played it once in a Pops concert, like for a Fourth of July concert with an orchestra out here,
Hmm.
and so when I was playing it then, like I didn't have the score or anything, so I was in rehearsal with that, and I was noticing what was happening with that, and this must have been 3 years ago, back when we had concerts, but
Yeah.
back in my day, but yeah, I was sitting there in the orchestra thing, and like I had one suspended cymbal roll like at the end, and I got to sit there and listen to really good orchestra musicians play this music, and I was like,
Nice.
wow, this everyone but the basses are playing this extra line on top, and you can't like, it's not in your face like the
Mhm.
brass part is playing. They're playing the hymn,
Yeah, yeah.
but you feel this underneath. It's like this undertow that's sort of like adding something else and like adding this next layer, because the string, you might not hear all the strings against the brass equally, but this is the mark of a good composer is how to stage everything,
Mhm.
is how to, if the brass are going to be playing at forte and they're playing this broad thing, how are you going to hear the strings? Is by making them more active, because you have to, because you're going to hear that one, maybe a brass whole note, but in that space of a whole note you're going to hear, you know 16th notes filling in all that space, which is one going to help the music propel itself in terms of momentum.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not sitting there listening to brass go bah, bah.
Yeah. which
Right.
which is
Because
great
that
sometimes too.
that is great. Go listen to a
Yeah,
DCI horn line
yeah,
warm up,
yeah.
Right.
and that's on its own is great. But if you can add some spice on top of that, and add another level of interest on top of that, that makes that brass thing sound so much better, because it's filled in with more, crunchy bits. It's just like, um so yeah, I do that in mine. It's not my own brilliant idea, and it probably wasn't John Williams' brilliant idea either. Like,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
probably got that idea from listening to somebody else do it,
Mhm.
because composers have to have this sort of, you have to have a steel trap of a mind, just remembering everything, and everything might not be useful to you right away. And like, especially with music too, everybody can learn from this. It's just like, absorb everything you can, because one day it might be useful to you. Like not everybody goes on Jeopardy, but one day maybe something I learned on the History Channel back when I was like 8 or 9 years old might help me win $100 on Jeopardy. Like, you never know. And that's just the
Right.
That's
most
like
obvious, like, silly example, but
when
in
I was
real
living on
life.
when I was living on Long Island and we would go into the cities sometimes. I would be like, "Oh, got to go in wearing a nice shirt because we might end up on Cash Cab." You never know.
That's solid thinking though.
Exactly.